Yep, and it's something to have fun with. Go out there, just try something simple. Try something really quick. Don't spend a lot of time on it. Upload it, get something back. Try it, make it a little bit better, right? See what's available to you. Think about a GoPro, right? We're talking about drones and how you can fly this around and what it can capture. What's the drone really capturing? If it's taking photos, right, and putting it together to make a point cloud, you can do the same thing. Just an iPhone or a GoPro, a really nice camera is going to give you better results. The more photos, the more pixels you're going to get. But my goal, if you guys get this done before me, more power to you. I keep talking about it forever, so I want to share it. Taking pictures of a manhole, right? Just something simple. We have all the inverts, all the problems of getting that data. You just snap pictures on a stick all the way down, pictures back up. You should be able to create a point cloud of that. The big thing is you need some lighting down there in order for that to work. But it's a lot of fun what you can do just taking photos and getting a $300 GoPro camera to be able to do some of that as well. So definitely try that out. I'm going to go a little bit quicker here. I want to talk about a little bit scan to BIM. What I liked about this as well, if you're using Revit, I don't know if a lot of people how many people are using Revit in here? Is there a few? Okay, yeah, pretty good amount. So hopefully you brought in point cloud directly into Revit, which is nice. So you bring in the recap file, the RCS, RCP, to load the multiple scans directly in here. A couple of things, make sure you have all the Revit updates. I had a lot of people call, they bring in the point cloud, they still can't see it. It's the scarce data, it's just not loading. Throw that service pack on there, it worked great. The point clouds, make sure the information is there in recap. You have the updates. Take a look at the point cloud. I'll show you the section box, level lines. Those are just simple Revit tasks. I was going to show you real quickly inside Revit some of the things we can do with it. But we're running a little bit on time, and I promised to get everybody out of here as well. Let's see if I got Revit open. If not, we'll fire.
Chad, while you're looking, can I say one more?
Yeah, absolutely.
We've talked a lot about using GoPro to do the photo reconstruction. It does work very well if you have the GoPro Hero 3, the black edition, which is the one with the highest. The other can't. 400. Yeah, 400. It's the 400 exactly. When he said that, I'm like, because the silver models we're working on. We actually have to model the camera lens for each of these different cameras are very different. So we've got the one for the Pro for the Hero 3 Black. That's what we use to do all our examples. So the silver are not supported. So if you try that, you may not get the results that you want.
Cool. And the GoPro doesn't it support now the fisheye lens or something too? Was the big thing with the two.
It has a wide angle lens associated with it.
Yeah, very important. It captures more data.
But even the one there's a difference between their black and silver editions, and so we currently support the black.
Black. Okay, good to know. Thanks.
Just real quick.
Yep.
I don't understand why how much the lens matters. You don't know the lens on an iPhone, or you do know the lens on an iPhone, and how does the information, for instance, if we're just uploading pictures, how does it know? How does it know what it was taken by? If it's just a tip or
that's a great question. So we do some of the magic of our software is we basically support a range of camera lenses from a standard a Nikon or any traditional. So even though those vary a little bit, we can support the gamut. Where we get into having to be more specialized is with the wide angle, which it distorts the image. So the fisheye, those are the sort of the lens models that we're currently taking one at a time and covering. So any regular camera, like from your iPhone or from even in the high end, the Nikon professional photography, those will work just fine.
Very cool. Thanks. We can talk more about that too at the end. Feel free to stick around, share experiences and cameras being used, the resolution. I have some details on that as well, and get you some good connections. Dominic's one of them that actually wrote this too. Could have some words with you. So this is a point cloud inside Revit. I was going to show you the real simple one and line it and rotate it. Show you some of the simple things, but to kind of speed things up. What's really unique about this one, this is another data set that was actually captured. This wasn't a drone, it was actually a helicopter. The FAA had a problem with the drones. They took a helicopter, flew it, and actually took pictures. Took the pictures, dragged and dropped it into the Autodesk 360 account, and this is what they got out of it. Again, I want to stress the idea of being able to work with this data inside Revit. So after you get this data, however you're capturing the data, The focus is on what you can do for your client, and a lot of them don't know. This goes right into Revit, and they can just accurately detail this and start working right off of this. Is just basically tracing the information that they have in front of them. So we could go in here, and one of the things, I don't know if people just aren't comfortable with it, but a simple thing is moving over this. Usually it turns purple, it turns a different color. It's kind of frustrating. All you have to do is go down here and just click on this. It turns the link off. Be careful, you won't be able to select anything else, so make a note of that if you're having troubles or you forget. But the idea now, I can maneuver, I can manipulate the data, I can work with it a little bit. It's not going to keep flashing at me. So simply turn the links off. Some more fun that you can have in here, you can use the section boxes as well. So if you guys want to just turn these on or off, then you can manipulate the data like I did in Recap, so you can actually have that toggled on. You can take your different floor plans, you can set them at different levels. So if I go to level 1, which one's going to give me the clearest data that I want to draw that floor plan? Where do I want to use the wall command to go endpoint to endpoint to endpoint? We can create a quick section in here. From that section, we can actually take this data and then view that information from the section. Go to a little bit more usable one here in a second. Okay. And then you can actually create the unique section where you want the actual cut to be. And then you can just sit there and put your level lines at every level. And then as you draw your walls, or you want to drop your doors and windows in there, they're going to drop in at each level. Right? So it's a guide. That's all you have to use Revit for. You can see that it's seamless. You're panning and zooming. Granted, if you get a point cloud phase-based data and they did it at a really, really high resolution and they just gave you a lot of data, yeah, it's still going to struggle a little bit, but that's up to you. The other big tip I can give you when working with Scan to BIM, narrow down the data. Don't work with the whole building. Don't work with the whole thing. You're not drawing the whole thing at once. Go in there and just narrow down one room. Narrow down just the exterior walls. Export the data so it's usable for each person for what they're doing with it. It makes a huge, huge difference to do that information while you're inside of Revit. Get better response, better quality, better data out as well there. Well, any questions with point clouds in Revit? A few of you are using it. Any comments or anything, or something maybe talk about later on as well? Okay. I want to skip over to Navisworks. This is a hidden gem. This is actually part of most of the design suites that everybody's working in now. So if you have point cloud data, it looks incredible inside of Navisworks. Make sure you load that. You take your Revit model, you bring that inside as well, and then you can do a construction verification to make sure maybe the building was actually built that way and you want to compare it to the scan data. Maybe you're just using the scan data to compare that you didn't miss anything during the Revit modeling. Either way, you can go in and create sections of the data once you bring it in. All right, so it's a true section through the Revit model as well as the scan data. Whatever level we want to save that, so it's the first floor, right? Second floor. Again, with Navisworks, we can go in here. They all pan and zoom a little bit different, guys, so I got to retrain myself here from Recap to Revit to how this each one of them pan and zooms around a little bit. But the idea, you can also go in here. We can do review. So we could have someone else open this up with a free viewer, which is to help share this data. You can go in and you can create viewpoints. We could save this. We can go in and you can actually even mark this up for review. So you can put text in here. You could draw revision clouds. You could say, hey, you forgot the MEP. There's a clash here. If you have Navisworks Manager, you can do clash detection. So if the point cloud is going across the structural steel, or if you want to do verifications, you can also do any type of animations in here as well. I call this the mousetrap view. But literally you can walk through the entire model in here as well. Right? If your doors are in there, it's all going to show up. You can walk through it. You can give the client more of a preview. Here's what it looked like. We can get rid of the point cloud. Here's what's new. Here's the, we can have section 1, phase 1, phase 2, and then show what's going to be different. Here's the old railing. Here's the new railing. Here's the old piping. Here's what the new piping looks like. Make sure Navisworks is a tool that can be used if you're doing scan to BIM, that you utilize this for just about everything that you want to show or collaborate with your clients as well. Cool. So some of the things and ideas with Scan to BIM, if you guys look up there, I'm probably missing 100 things. Every time I talk to a client that has a scanner, I learn something new, come up with new ideas. It's remarkable, even some of the things Aaron talked about today, where reality computing is going. First thing you have to do is be able to capture that data, What do you do with it once you capture it? One of the newest things I see it being used for is CFD, computational fluid dynamics as well. Hospitals have, I guess I wouldn't say a lot of money, but maybe they're spending a lot of money, however you want to look at healthcare right now. So that's something that's going to be scanned. It's going to be, you have to model that, right? You're going to create a Revit model of that information. There's some cool facts in here. Americans will die due to infections contracted while in the hospital. 1 in every 17. Anybody been in the hospital? Kind of a scary number, isn't it? My dad actually ran into an incident like that too. He was in there, I think it was 60 days. The longer he's in there, the more susceptible you are to getting an infection. So they're going to go through there and they're going to model this. Well, why not scan it to make sure it's accurate? Then you model it. Then you take it into Autodesk CFD and you take the information where the heat, where the cold is, where the airflow is, and you actually design it and adjust it inside the program. Okay? So a couple other things, using that to utilize this in the future, you can see of all the accurate hospitals have construction plans in the next 3 years. 47%. There's a lot of hospitals out there, right? And they're huge. So almost 50% of them have some type of construction plans going on. So why not get scanning involved? Some type of reality capture, whether it's a drone, photos, whatever they want to get. They don't know about it if you don't get in front of them. So you got to educate your clients as well as we are here today talking about it. We got to make sure we share this with them as well in order to get in front of them with some of this data. I'm going to skip over this one. I think Dave Dress is going to come up a little bit here and talk about capturing huge facilities in a factory, some of the workflows, the different information. This is just one of the concepts that we did, but I'm going to make sure we stay on track here and stay on time and share that with him. What I thought was unique about this, walking in, this is all the client had, 2D deliverable of an AutoCAD drawing. We took the scan data, we just overlaid the 2D information right onto the floor plan, and you could instantly see columns that were off, columns that were the wrong way, columns that weren't even there. So it was instantly we saw that there was a problem. You can just use scan data to work in 2D. You don't have to scare the client by going 3D. Just show them it's still going to be more accurate. You have current as-builds. But by the time we walked away, this is how they were looking at their facility from their desk rather than what they had before. So, capturing the information and using it is very important. And again, if they wanted to model that, they could as well. Cool. And then the Navisworks part that we discussed. Cool. Any questions on any of that? AEC? Cool. Thanks.